Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we are back at Universal Studios, and you guys might be asking yourselves, why are you starting your video from the parking garage of all places? There's nothing interesting here. In today's video we're going to be talking about how Universal is more or less returning to normal. They're moving rather quickly to return to normal, more so than other parks around the area. And the very first thing that I want to highlight is actually right here in the parking garage before we even get to security. And as you guys can see, no more temperature checks, which, you know, for some folks may be, you know, a very pleasant surprise. For other folks, not so much. It depends on how you look at it. You know, I'm not crazy when I say that there are some folks out there who are, you know, jumping for joy that they don't have to get their temperature taken anymore because, God forbid, you infringe on any of their freedoms or their liberties or whatever, their rights. But, you know, think of it however you thought about it. Temperature checks were there to kind of deter people who may have a fever or may be down with something from coming to the park. And even if it kept one person that might have COVID out of the parks, I still saw them as a good thing. They didn't inconvenience me in any way whatsoever. But that is something that is different here at Universal as they are working to move back towards normal. Coda, did you have something to say? I was going to say, the only thing that bothered me is when I was running late and I couldn't get into work as quickly because I had to get my temperature taken. So, yeah, it all depends on how you look at it. And the next thing you will notice is the floor markings are looking much closer than they normally are. That is because the 6 feet social distancing markers are no more. They've gotten rid of all of them and they replaced them with little blue strips of tape that are all now 3 feet apart. They also changed the safety spiel that plays as you're approaching City Walk. It's definitely much lower of a volume than it was before. You could barely hear this dude saying the moving walkway exit is approaching. You could barely hear that. You could barely hear the music. It's definitely a much more toned down safety spiel. We are definitely hoping to have a very fun and pleasant afternoon here at Universal. And you see, even at different food locations, 3 feet social distancing. So another thing that we're really wanting to do in this video today is to kind of observe the guests, really, to see how they're handling things and to see, you know, not that they've ever followed the social distancing beforehand, but now that the social distancing is now down to 3 feet for pretty much anything, we're just wanting to see if they're following that anymore or not, you know, how the mask wearing is going, because it's all over the news that Universal is not Universal, but Orlando is very close to reaching the milestone of vaccinations where masks are no longer needed outdoors. So we'll see if people have caught wind of that and if they're following mask wearing. We're just kind of doing a little bit of an update for Universal and to see how they're handling things. So we have finally made it to the entrance of Universal Studios, and you can see all the social distancing markers leading up. They're now 3 feet from each other, and you can see Coda being a good noodle over here standing on her marker, and then you got everyone else. So already not a good start, but it was already like this before we moved from 6 feet to 3 feet, so this is really no surprise. I'm more concerned about how they are in the queue lines. And just kind of as a frame of reference as to where the old social distancing markers used to be, you can see there's the old marker right over here, and then all the way up over here was the next one. You can also see it over here. There's an old one, and there's another old one. So just to kind of frame of reference how many more people you can fit in between that space. And yeah, Coda's right. The math doesn't really add up, because if that's supposedly 6 feet from the last one, they have, what, 2 more in the middle? So what is that? 3, 6, 9 feet. So, either way, it's interesting to see where they were and where they are now. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the wait times here. At about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday, we can see that some of the attractions are down due to weather. Shrek 4D, 40 minutes. Hogwarts Express, 60. Horror Makeup Show next show is at 4:30. We got Escape from Green Guides at 30. Fast and Furious Supercharged, 20. Revenge of the Mummy also at 40 minutes. So, not too terrible. Not too terrible at all. Am I crazy, or have they also reduced the distance to character meet and greets? Because what's her face, Hello Kitty would meet up here, and other characters I think would meet up here, and I could have sworn, yeah, look, the social distancing marker for meet and greets used to be over here, and now they put it further back, so it looks like you can stand right up against the concrete and say a hello to Hello Kitty. And you can also see the exterior queue leading up to Mel's Dine-In is also marked with 3 feet as well. So yeah, things are changing. Yeah, it's so interesting. People can now queue up right outside of the creperie. You used to have to wrap around the corner over there and have a separate register for it.
Just call it the creperie?
Yeah, creperie.
Okay.
I mean, what else do you want me to call it? A crepe stand? That's the normal way of saying it. We don't do normal here. We also got different signage around the park now indicating the 3 foot instead of 6 feet as well. All right, let's take a quick ride on Men in Black Alien Attack, and you can see the new 3 feet social distancing markers. We'll see how people are handling this. I definitely don't think that there's a problem with us keeping our own kind of 6 foot distance. Like, we'll stand on this marker, we'll leave that one blank, and we'll have the, you know, crew of people ahead of us just huddle over there. So I don't think there's any harm in that. And you can kind of see from this other room, like the queue kind of just looks like a regular queue that you would see on any other pre-COVID kind of day. But again, that is the byproduct of the 3 foot social distancing. Groups are going to be closer together naturally. But I'm just merely observing that it kind of looks like a regular queue that you would see on a pre-COVID day. You can see that Universal is still staggering the social distancing markers. So like there's one right here. There's not going to be one directly next to us. There's one over here, and then the next one's back there. So you can see how they're still staggering, which is good.
Both teams' final score. They assign you an MIB agent.
Also, Universal is now loading every single row back to back, so I really don't see a purpose of these plexiglass barriers here anymore. If they're loading every single row, it doesn't make any sense to me anymore. All right, so just got out of line in Men in Black. So what did you think about the social distancing and the 3 foot markers?
Nothing changed.
Nothing changed. It still looks pretty much the same. I mean, like I said before, even before COVID and the 6 foot social distancing, people were still ignoring the social distancing markers, and we pretty much saw the same thing today, but it just makes it look worse now that it's 3 feet rather than 6 feet. You know, a lot more people are kind of on top of each other, and it just looks worse. But like I said, if you're in the queue and you want to kind of keep your own 6 foot distance, you can still do that. You know, I mean, like, I don't know, did you feel like we were getting nasty looks from the people behind us because we weren't keeping up?
I didn't look. I didn't care.
There are 2 kinds of people. But anyways, you shouldn't really be bothered by it. You're not really going to be bothering anybody. I mean, instead of doing the 3 feet, you can still keep your own 6 foot distance. So there's that option for you. So for the summertime season, they have these different food trucks located throughout the park. And we were going to stop at one, but it looks like it's closed, which is really unfortunate. I don't know what time they closed. This one had mac and cheese and some different melts. I think there are a few others located throughout the park. I think I see another one right over here. So we'll check them out, and hopefully they're open. That way we can try some kind of new food. But we'll see. Yeah, it looks like all the booths are closed right now. What the heck? I mean, there's people standing there, but I don't know. They have Cuban sandwiches over here too. A Cuban sandwich for $15. So wait a minute. So for Mardi Gras, they had a Cuban sandwich that was $13, and it was really small, and everyone thought it was overpriced, so they reduced the price. Now this one's $15, and I just realized now, looking at the screen, that it's kind of oversaturated. Hold on, let me fix that for you. So yeah, $15. Is it any bigger? Does it taste better? And beef empanadas too? I don't know, I'm very curious. All right, so now that the music is a little bit low, I couldn't talk about this earlier because the music was really loud. Let's talk about this Cuban sandwich and the beef empanadas that we got. So I had to go back to my other video and watch and take a look at the size of the Cuban sandwich that was served at Mardi Gras compared to this one. And I'll put a picture up over here again of the one that I got at Mardi Gras. The only picture that I got was of it split open because I showed you how little meat there was in that sandwich. I will say that the Cuban sandwich that we got here for this summer food booth thing that they got going on, it did seem like it was a little bit bigger, and there was definitely a lot more inside of it as far as, you know, meat and pickles and cheese and whatever. So do I think it's worth $15 when the one that we got at Mardi Gras was $13 and then they reduced it to $7? I don't think so. I don't think so. It was still better than what we got at Mardi Gras, but do I think it's worth $15? Absolutely not. I think Universal missed the mark again with pricing is concerned. I wouldn't be surprised if they reduced the price again of this Cuban sandwich, because I honestly don't think it's worth $15. Again, it's good, and I think it's better than what we got at Mardi Gras, but because they reduced the one at Mardi Gras from $13 to $7, and now this one's $15, and it's, you know, relatively almost the same size, just a little bit bigger, I don't think it's worth it. The beef empanadas though, beef empanadas were pretty good. I didn't care too much for whatever this nonsense is. I didn't care too much for that, but for the $13 that you pay for the beef empanadas, you get 2, whereas for Mardi Gras you got 1, and I think it was still like $7 for the 1 beef empanada. I'm not entirely sure, but I think the beef empanadas are definitely a better value. So take it as you will. Everyone's different in their own opinions. That's just my opinion on it, so take it as you will. So right next to Transformers, we have another Summer Bites booth takeover type thing over here, and they have several different food items. They got elote, they got some different arepas. Don't remember what this is called, and this looks like another form of elote. Is that a menu over there? Let's kind of come over here and see what they got. So yeah, we have elotes asados, esquites asados, arepas, coquina, I think that's how you pronounce it, and pineapple or watermelon fruit cup. All right, guys, here we go. So I have a arepa con carnitas, and we have an elote over here, or as Coda would like to say, elote, for all you. Are you good? What did that thing ever do to you? Cheese.
That's cheese.
That is cheese, yes. But anyways, Coda really loves elotes, as she would say, and I'm typically not a fan of arepas, so I'm very interested to try this. And Coda, how's your elote? And don't say you like it, elote.
I love it, elote.
There you go. All right, let's take a second to talk about what we ate. So you can see Coda is still messing with the elote. She loves it a lot. And the arepa, that was actually really good. I just wish there was more meat, because it was like a pocket of the corn flour thingy, but the meat was only just like right on top, on the top edge of it. So you took 2 bites and the meat was gone, and then you had like 5 more bites of just the arepa itself. So that's my only complaint. Other than that, it was still really, really good. I typically don't like arepas, but that was actually really good, and that was about $10. Same with the elote. I think Coda's getting her money's worth out of it.
Well, there's elote.
You know, it's really weird. I would have expected them to put a food booth out here, but guess not. I guess it's all located around the lagoon. All right, guys, well, that is gonna do it from us here at Universal Studios Florida. We're gonna do another video from Islands of Adventure in a little bit, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have that notification bell turned on for that video. I just wanted to kind of sum up everything and sum up our thoughts. Coda, what did you think about what you saw from inside the park? Do you think anything has changed at all from what you've seen prior to, you know, going to 3 feet?
Team members got a little sassy. Should you not notice? They were a little sassy when it came to the masks and social distancing. They had a little bit more
sassy how? Well, I mean, they're kind of sick of it. I mean, wouldn't you be?
Yeah, I mean, still.
You know, at this point,
they've got attitude more than even last week. Like last week to this week, there is definitely more of an attitude.
Well, can you blame them? Especially since we've gone down to 3 feet. You know, people are going to be more rude than anything else now.
And our governor being like, we're gonna take away mask mandates.
Yeah, our governor's not helping at all, but everyone has their own opinions on that. Yeah. Again, like I said before, nothing's really changed other than the 3 feet social distancing markers. You know, people never followed it to begin with really here at Universal, and it was more of the same today. A lot of people were just really ignoring it, and we just kind of did our own thing, staying as safe as we possibly could while in the park. And I would say, do you think it's fair to say that about 90% of the people that we saw were wearing their mask properly?
75.
75?
Lots of noses, but I mean...
Lots of noses, yeah, I will say lots of noses.
But I mean, I'd rather take a boogie over getting straight sneezed on,
So, there you go. I was trying to be a little generous. I mean, by no means is it perfect at all, but yeah, 75-80% of people are not wearing their mask properly. It was more noses than anything, but still quite a few people with their masks on their chin as they were walking around. So
I'm also counting. Did you see all there were quite a few mesh masks, or people walking around with the blue medical masks where they ripped out you can tell they ripped out the interior layer and it was one layer.
Yeah.
There were quite a few of those walking around too, so would you call that wearing? Technically, all of them were wearing it correctly, but is it a proper face covering?
Not really. It's got to be multi-layered. Anyways, guys, this is us just sharing our opinion and our experience from what we saw here at Universal Studios. You know, we had a lot of people messaging us, asking us to come out here and give a review and to see how things were being handled here at Universal Studios now that things have changed. If you've been to Universal Studios recently since they've changed to 3 feet social distancing, let us know your thoughts and opinions and experiences down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. I hope you are all having a wonderful day, morning, afternoon, evening, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Also, before you guys call us hypocrites in the comment section, we were in a U-Rest area for that outro. Masks do not have to be worn in there.